What's up, Switches?
I'm Jennifer.
I'm Cicero.
And this is the Switching Lanes podcast.
Today's topic, single shaming. What's your point, though?
So you remember when you were younger and you would have to go to those family events and you dreaded walking in, talking to that great aunt or that your grandmother.
Mamie and them.
Always ready to ask you where that ring at. You know, why haven't you gotten married yet? What you waiting on, baby?
Where that man at? What I'm chilling?
Right. You know,
when you gonna give me some grandbabies?
Grandbabies. Can I go to school first? Is that okay, ma'am? Is that all right, auntie? But, you know, they started out doing that, and I look at today, and now we do it to each other.
Yeah. Back in the day, of course, you know, it wasn't really called single shaming per se. Because, you know, nowadays, you know, you got your urban dictionaries and, you know, you're Googling everything. So, with the new millennium and all this extra stuff, you got all these different new terms and you got your Webster's dictionary, then you got your urban dictionary.
Oh, everything is labeled now. For everything.
I haven't Googled this myself, but I do believe that single shaming is probably like an urban term.
I think
it could be. I probably look that up in a minute. But yeah. But it's now you know, been brought more to the forefront as an issue. And I read it in some of the articles I read online about single shaming. Some actually call it singleism, kind of like ageism and racism. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, because there are ways that people do it that's definitely intentional, but then you have your unintentional. And I mean, they genuinely don't mean any harm, because Mamie and them genuinely didn't mean any harm.
Right, they were unintentional.
Right,
definitely.
They were unintentional. And then you have your self-shaming. So my biggest pet peeve is that intentional shaming. You can work on that self-shaming. You definitely can work on that with you know, reaffirmations affirmations, reaffirmations, and you know, your friends and, you know, girl talks and self-talks and things like that.
Right, self-love.
Yeah, self-love. You can work on the self-shaming, but the one that annoys me the most is that intentional shaming. And it doesn't mean that there's malice to it, but it's still intentional.
Right.
Because you have, you know, these newlyweds. I see it commonly amongst newly married women, because I don't see that with men that much. I won't even say that much. I have never seen it with a man. I've never seen a man single shame.
Right, but it's the woman that's been married a whole month now who has suddenly become an expert.
Stavisha Harvey.
Stavisha, that's who she is.
Like Steve Harvey, she's just the female version of him.
Right there.
She's got all those relationship gems for you, all those little relationship nuggets. And I mean, I just need you to get through your first couple of years and you come back and tell me how that works out.
Right.
And then you have your women who are constantly in and out of relationships because of that fear of being alone. They have that fear of being alone. So they jump from relationship to relationship, and then they look at you as if you're doing something wrong because you're kind of still back here in the cut chilling.
Hanging back.
And you just had your last breakup, so you know what? You're kind of coasting.
Right.
So it's an issue. And I don't understand how me coasting and trying to do some self-care, I don't understand why you want to take that and single shame me when I'm just trying to...
because they have trouble understanding why you're so comfortable with yourself. Why are you so comfortable in your singleness? They don't see it as you spending time with yourself, loving on yourself, getting to know yourself. Oh, you single, you must be lonely. No way. Let's get rid of that right now. Being married does not automatically equate to being happy, and being single does not automatically mean that I'm sad or lonely.
No, absolutely not. No.
It's about taking time to get to know yourself so that you become an asset in whatever relationship that you're in. Because the truth of the matter is, if you don't know you, you don't understand you, how can you expect someone else to understand you?
I like how you put that, how you get to know yourself so that you can become an asset. And that, I think that rings true for any type of relationship.
Absolutely.
Not just a dating relationship, but that's with, you know, me as a divorcee. That's with me and my son. I can be an asset to him.
Right.
I can also be an asset to my friends. I can be an asset to anybody that's around me.
Right.
Because when you don't know yourself, you're in a darker place, and you're kind of playing this tug of war.
Right.
And you don't know you don't know how, you know, that can go so far as to not even knowing how to respond to other people.
Absolutely. And it's going to reach a point where you have so much going on inside of you, you don't even realize you're emitting negativity. When people talk to you or you're around others, you don't realize that you have some toxic responses to these people because of what you're fighting on the inside. So it's absolutely important to take that time to get to know yourself. So congratulations on your wedding, but what's your point in trying to make me feel bad for not being married?
Right.
You know, what's the point behind that?
It's that one-up factor. I mean, we're also in a time where everybody's in competition.
Everything is a competition.
Everything is a competition. I got a new car. Oh, I got a newer car. I'm in a relationship. So what? I'm married.
Right.
You know, everything is a competition now. When I'm gonna tell you, the best thing. I'm divorced. Been divorced a few years now. The best thing about that situation, coming out of that situation, and I wasn't in a terrible marriage or anything like that. It just didn't work out. That's simple.
Right.
And he and I, we cut our ties. We have a son together, both of our only child, and we co-parent fantastically. Like it's a dream come true. Praise God. And I mean, I wished him all the best. He's remarried, and I love his wife. I mean, of course, we all had our struggles because it's all a growing process.
An adjustment for everyone.
Yeah, it's an adjustment.
Absolutely.
But we all were able to stand up as adults and say, Isaiah, my son, is the important person in this situation.
Right.
So we're able to, we got that divorce, and I came out divorce cup like up top. It's done. And the best part about going through that was taking that time to get to know me and date myself.
Absolutely.
And be comfortable with myself.
Right.
That was the best time. Like, I don't regret anything about that. Like, I know me. I love me for who I am.
Right.
And I can respond to people in a positive way, in a positive light. And I can accept criticism, and I can also accept the fact that, hey, it's me. When my son is gone with his dad, which he's gone a great deal of time with his dad, it's me. And instead of me sitting in the house feeling like I'm lonely and I'm down on myself, what I do, I get up and I go out and I do me. I mean, y'all know me. Y'all see me on Facebook. I go get my tattoos. I've got my nose pierced.
Well, that goes
I'm doing all
back
this fun
to,
stuff.
Like I said before, you said when you're sitting at home by yourself, you're still not lonely. If you cannot enjoy spending time with yourself, how do you expect other people to do it? So when you begin to have an issue with being there, sitting with yourself, enjoying time alone, you really need to dig a little bit deeper and become more acquainted with yourself, get more comfortable with yourself. And so, because you shouldn't have that moment where you feel awkward being alone.
No, absolutely not. You came into the world alone.
Right.
Why should you feel awkward being by yourself? Like, hey, I love me a spotlight. So guess what? Push me over there in that spotlight. I'm going to give you a show.
Right.
And it's going to be a genuine, true, sincere celebration. It's not going to be, oh, I don't want nobody to see me because I don't have a man on my arm. Right. Or I don't want to go to this party because I don't have a man on my arm. Because so many women are pressured into that. I don't want to go to another wedding because I don't have a man on my arm.
And I've dealt with a lot of it. You know, my particular issue goes back to the self-shaming. Because after so much conditioning from others, you know, you have the relatives who weigh in on the fact that you're still not married and everybody else is married. And I actually have a sister younger than me who got married. And you're still not married and your sister is married. So for me, they were planting seeds. And then you have the friends around you who are getting married. And you have the multiple failed relationships. And you begin to believe what they're playing to you. Yeah. Maybe something is wrong with me.
You start to believe your circumstances.
You start to believe, right?
Like you said, that conditioning that's a huge word.
Conditioning is everything. I'm telling you.
Yes.
On multiple levels, on multiple topics, conditioning it's everything. But I really had a lot of people weighing in on me, and it was about me finally getting comfortable enough to appreciate time with me and respect my own boundaries so that other people respect my boundaries. This is what it is for me. I love it. I'm okay with it. You need to be okay with it too. You know, there's options. You can be okay with it or you can just stay out of my way. So now I'm at a point in my life I can go to dinner alone. I can go to movies alone. I can do whatever it is that I want. I enjoy me time. I actually look forward to it, whereas before it felt like a negative thing, you know?
But you know, that conditioning, back to that word conditioning, that that conditioning, we're conditioned in certain things. Just like you said, it could go. That could speak to an array of topics.
Absolutely.
But I also look at it. I can take this conditioning, and make it a positive, and look at the fact that I'm comfortable in me.
Right.
I'm comfortable being the single me. And my son can see his mom being comfortable, and he can see his mom and dad co-parenting, and he can see us having a functional relationship, even though that relationship is not that of a marriage.
Right.
He could see that. He could see that. So that conditions him to let him know, hey, there can be success, whether it's a marriage or not.
Absolutely.
There can be successful relationships. Period. Because we grew up, we grew up around so much dysfunction.
Right. And kudos on that, by the way. You and your ex went through a divorce, and you recognized that it was important to keep the child first. You built a friendship. Yeah. You maintained a really wonderful co-parenting relationship with him and his new partner. And I think with all of that in mind, you're still winning. You still got it right. It's not the focus is not the divorce. The focus is everything that happened after, and you still got it right. I love that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was definitely our goal. Like I told him my biggest thing was to make sure we raise a functional child. I did not want my child to see discord.
Right.
I didn't want him to see that. I saw enough of that growing up myself. I did not want my baby to see discord. He sees his dad and I, birthdays come around. We celebrate everything together. We do his birthday together.
And that's wonderful.
We do his concerts. We do his the graduations in the past. The 6th grade graduation and all that stuff. We do all those things. And I've included his wife. I don't have an issue. I've never been that chick to say, hey, who is she and why is she around? No, bring her.
Right.
Bring her. She and I communicate more than me and my ex-husband.
Because you are comfortable within yourself.
Absolutely.
You respect one another.
Absolutely.
And that all begins with knowing yourself. If you have not taken the time to date yourself, spend time with yourself, love yourself.
Wine and dine myself, girl.
Right. Absolutely. Like, seriously. Then you can't be an asset in another relationship. You can't walk in and say that I'm going to have a healthy relationship because you're coming in toxic already.
Messed up, yeah. And it's like you have to get the lessons, and it's like it's just like a relationship to me. I look at it like school. If you don't get the lesson, you're gonna be left back a grade.
Absolutely.
So in a relationship, if you don't get the lesson, you're gonna keep repeating that process. You're gonna repeat the same process. It's gonna probably be a few things added to a kind of remix there, but you're gonna repeat that same process if you don't get the lesson. So,
right, and then you become that person that's out here saying all men are the same, all women are the same. You become bitter, but no, they're not all the same. The issue is you keep dating the same person over and again.
Yep.
You keep dating the same type of person over and over, and it's making you bitter.
Yep.
You need to date yourself, look within, and reassess the type of people you're dating.
Mm-hmm. And then you can start to learn to love you.
Absolutely.
And you can realize ain't no shame in being single.
Right.
And on that note, switches, we're going to get on out of here for today. But I want to leave you with this quote from Mandy Hale. Single is no longer a lack of options, but a choice. A choice to refuse to let your life be defined by your relationship status, but to live every day happily and let your ever after work itself out.
Until next time, love, Jen, and Cicero.